There is something running quietly underneath your day. A directive your mind is following, whether you've named it or not, whether you've meant to set it or not. The question is whether you have chosen it or whether something else has chosen it for you. Welcome to One Question, a short weekly reflection to help you reconnect with your body, your values, and your truth. This week's question is, what intention am I setting? A few years ago, I started experimenting with something so simple, I almost didn't trust it. Each morning, before the day got loud, I would sit down and write a single intention. Not a to-do list, not a goal, but one specific thing that I wanted to bring into focus for the day. To listen more than I speak, to be honest in a conversation that I'm dreading, to notice what is beautiful, even when I'm tired. It was small, embarrassingly small at first. I almost dismissed it as too soft, too earnest, too, woo-woo, but something started to shift. Days where I set an intention felt different from days where I didn't. Not because the events of the day changed, but because I was different inside of them. I caught things I would otherwise have missed. I responded instead of reacted. I came home on the harder days knowing that at least I tried to be the version of myself that I was reaching for. The practice mattered enough to me that recently I built in a small app to help other people do it. The app is called wild369.com. But honestly, that's not really what this episode is about. This episode is about what I learned along the way, which is that the practice of setting an intention isn't woo-woo at all. It's neuroscience. There's a Stanford neuroscientist named James Doty who had been studying this for decades until he passed last year. He grew up in poverty in California, walked into a magic shop as a 12-year-old, and met a woman who over the course of a summer taught him techniques for relaxation, visualization, and intention setting. He credits those practices with the entire trajectory of his life. And he spent many of the years since trying to understand scientifically why they worked. His most recent book is called Mind Magic, and his argument is this. When we set a clear intention, when we name something specific that we want to bring into our awareness and pair it with an emotional weight, we're not casting a spell. We are programming our nervous system. Here's why. Your brain is, at every waking moment, drowning in input. Sights, sounds, sensations, thoughts. Far more than it could ever consciously process. So it filters. There's a network of cells deep in the base of your brain called the reticular activating system. And its job is to decide what reaches your awareness and what gets discarded as noise. It is essentially the bouncer for your brain. And what does the bouncer use to make those decisions? Your priorities, your beliefs, your expectations. What you have told it matters. That is why when you decide you want a particular kind of car, you suddenly see it everywhere. Those cars were always there. Your bouncer just started letting them in. Cognitive science calls this predictive processing. The brain isn't a passive receiver. It is a prediction machine. It is constantly scanning for evidence to confirm what it expects to find. When you set an intention with clarity and feeling, you are adjusting what the brain is scanning for. And you are telling it, this is what matters, look for this. And it will. That is the part that, for me, makes the practice feel less mystical and more grounded. You are reorienting your own attention. You are telling the most powerful pattern recognition system on Earth, your brain, what to notice. And then your day rises up to meet you, full of evidence you would have otherwise missed. And there's also a woo-woo part. But here's the part that matters most, and the part most intention-setting practices skip. An intention is not a thought. It is a felt thing. If you set an intention only with your mind, I will be patient today, your nervous system has nothing to anchor it to. It floats. It evaporates by, 9:30, 10 in the morning. But if you place a hand on your chest, take a slow breath, and let yourself feel what patience would feel like in your body, soft jaw, easy shoulders, a little slowing of your breath, your nervous system has a reference point. It knows what it is reaching for. The intention is no longer just a sentence. It's a state. So this week, when you set your intention, let your body say it with you. Close your eyes for a moment, hand on heart or belly, whatever feels right, and say the intention quietly. And notice, does your body soften or does it tighten? The body knows when an intention is true to you and when it has been borrowed from somewhere else. So this week's invitation is small, ridiculously small. Each morning, before the day gets loud, ask yourself one thing. What intention am I setting? Not what do I have to do today, not what am I afraid of, but what am I asking my mind to look for? What am I telling my nervous system to notice? What am I, in a woo-woo way, asking the universe to send my way? Make it specific. Make it embodied. Make it true. And then let the day rise up to meet you and see what happens. Thank you for joining me for One Question. Whatever intention you set this week, know this. It's the right one for you. You're training your attention to find what's already there. You're training your brain to help you see the thing you want. So, what intention are you setting? Until next week, be kind to yourself, trust your gut, and always ask better questions.